I'm sad about this whole situation.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. And we're going to play a couple of clips for you. You guys get the idea that is it certainly reasonable to espouse that Claudine Gay committed some form of plagiarism? Sure. But if you think that that's the reason why she was taken out, I'm sorry, that's not the case.
And I actually will debate the plagiarism with you too.
Let me ask you this. You are president of Harvard, so I assume you're familiar with the term intifada, correct?
I've heard that term, yes.
And you understand that the use of the term intifada in the context of the Israeli-Arab conflict is indeed a call for violent armed resistance against the state of Israel, including violence against civilians and the genocide of Jews. Are you aware of that?
That type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
Do you believe that type of hateful speech is contrary to Harvard's code of conduct, or is it allowed at Harvard?
It is at odds with the values of Harvard.
Can you not say here that it is against the code of conduct at Harvard?
We embrace a commitment to free expression, even of views that are objectionable, offensive, hateful. It's when that speech crosses into conduct that violates our policies against bullying, harassment,
Does that speech not cross that barrier? Does that speech not call for the genocide of Jews and the elimination of Israel?
I cannot express to you enough how much I want to beat that woman's ass.
Elise Stefanik
I can't
is
even
definitely
begin to tell you.
one of the
I'm
most,
so irate right now.
I mean, the difference between Stefanik and somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene is Stefanik is well-spoken, sharp, and loves to be on that soapbox, just like Debbie.
Okay, so here's the biggest problem with that little interaction right there. And this is what infuriates me to no end about any of the presidents that I saw of the universities that I saw questioned in this manner. They were all essentially asked the same question, okay? They were asked, is threatening the genocide of Jews against your school's code of conduct, a violation of your, whatever they call it, okay? Is that? And the answer might very well be yes, but not one of those people said, but nobody said that. Because what they're implying said that or meant that was anybody calling for an intifada. In fact, she had specifically questioned her on the phrase intifada, and Gay could have pointed out what intifada actually means. But it absolutely does not mean genocide to Jews, nor does from the river to the sea. And every single time that an academic, intelligent person like Ms. Gay lets them get away with that narrative on her watch, it's just one more friggin' straw on the camel's back of, you know, what anti-Semitism is. And it's just making it even worse. The reality is nothing that was said on those campuses was anything having to do with the genocide or the extermination of Jews. The fact that people like whatever her name, Stefanik, whatever her name is, and my congresswoman equate those things with the genocide of Jews, that's a sign of their own mental illness. I think so. I really do. I think they need to get some help. They have some serious, serious projection issues of their own genocidal tendencies onto other people. But nowhere in this, see now, if somebody on Harvard actually stood up and said, I think we should kill all the Jews, genocide to the Jews, then and only then would that exchange and interaction have any validity whatsoever. And I would suggest, for me personally, and everybody who knows this about me, I still don't care about that either. I don't have a problem with hate speech. I don't have a problem with speech. It hurts your feelings. Get it, lady. Stefanik, we're Jews. People don't like us. There's going to be people that don't like us.
Oh no, she's not a Jew.
Oh, she's not with us?
Oh no, she's not. Her name, I think she married Jewish.
Oh, okay.
She's Italian.
Oh, so she's just, okay. So, but the point is, like, there's going to be people that don't like us and hate us and even say it out loud. Oh my God, what are you going to do? And the idea that you want to silence it, squash it, ban it is just so wrong and has never worked in the history of the world. Has that ever worked? It doesn't work because it's wrong.
We've got one more clip, which is going to show you the after effect of Claudine Gay having now stepped down from her position at Harvard. Now, she hasn't been fired. She's still employed by the university.
Yeah, she's still a professor, but why none of these people are standing up as to what they're being accused of is bizarre to me.
She failed to do these things in public in front of Congress, and that brought on scrutiny. It brought on scrutiny from everybody, including the two journalists who looked into her background to figure out who she is exactly, and was there any sort of discrepancies with her her academic achievements.
What do you think should happen now? She's resigned, but what's next?
Well, what's next is that she's going to stay at Harvard. She's going to make nearly $900,000 a year, and they're going to likely put somebody else in that position who's just as ideological.
What happened to President Claudine Gay, it's the biggest assault on academic freedom in our history. It is unthinkable that a president of a university would be overthrown by big money. You know what Balzac famously said, the novelist, behind every great fortune is a crime. So this billionaire criminal class, if they can determine the president, they can determine every facet of university life.
That's the point. I want to be clear, and
Mr. Finkelstein with the right stuff almost every time.
I can't remember what clip I was watching. I was watching somebody debunk somebody who is in academia and actually studied whatever the same field is that Claudine Gay wrote her thesis on. Again, this is not my thing, but debunked all of those plagiarism accusations. Again, this is one of the things where it's like wisdom and experience, and what my head is telling me is it's all bullshit. And their issues with her actually went before this whole thing with Palestine, and that it gave the right wing and the people who probably didn't really want a black lady sitting there, and she maybe was a little bit too far to the left for their liking, and the Palestine thing gave them an in to sort of join up together to oust her.
But she was clearly blindsided.
Oh,
she was not.
She was that. Not only that, well, and it bothers me, and I do think the fact that the women that were answering this weren't Jewish maybe didn't feel at liberty to say that what you're saying is bullshit. Nobody's calling for genocide. You're just totally straw manning and making up shit. But I want to be very clear, guys. Google it or look up in YouTube. Find the guy. It was within the past couple of days that debunked the plagiarism accusations, and he went through each one of the accusations that they accused her of and debunked as to this is not plagiarism and that it is all acceptable. I would also suggest and point out that her thesis advisor, of whom she referenced his work, has clearly said in no uncertain terms that she did not plagiarize him. So you're accusing her of plagiarizing someone who was saying that she didn't plagiarize them, who was her advisor in the thing. And if anybody knows anything about a PhD relationship or whatever, you know, the mentor, mentee, whatever it is, yeah, they probably did a lot of projects and researched a lot of shit together. So they're probably going to have a lot of the same information. He flat out said she didn't plagiarize him. The other thing where she was accused of plagiarism had something to do with how she made a citation. And they are holding her to account. This is important, people. They are holding her to account to citation rules that are in effect now that were not in effect when she wrote her thesis. So be very careful when you hear somebody saying first of all, it's a rule having to do with using double quote marks instead of single quote marks. This is the kind of bullshit we're talking about. But the point is, the rule that she's saying, the rule that they're saying she violated in one of their claims of plagiarism is a rule that was not in existence at the time she wrote her thesis. So now they're holding her to account for rules now. What the F? So again, this is a total direct attack against her for her identity and her politics. And I am not playing the race card in and of itself. There's a lot of factors, but it does strike me as unusual that that's how and why this is happening.
Super corporate liberal Bill Ackman, huge donor to Harvard University and huge advocate for what Israel is doing to the Palestinians, can't stand the fact that Claudine Gay is still employed by the university. Not enough.
No, they're going to still keep pushing. You know, it's, if you seriously tell me that you believe that this has nothing to do with her being a black woman, I don't even know. Because then you're saying you believe all the plagiarism stuff is true. And if it is true, by the way, if it's true, does Harvard not have a screening process prior to appointing a president? You appoint a president, they've already vetted her inside, outside, and backwards. They've read everything she ever wrote. Every fucking citation she ever made was all examined before she got that position. And we're supposed to be like, oh my God, that's why they're getting rid of her? No. no. Get the fuck out of here with that. I don't know this woman. I'm disappointed that she didn't stand up more for herself at that hearing. But I'm telling you, I have 1,000% confidence in her work and her dissertation based on what I have seen, based on things that I have read about her. I do not care what they're ridiculous. They wouldn't be doing this if it were a white man. I guarantee you that.
Well, a white man is now in charge of Harvard once again.
And I would
All is
also
right in
suggest that the white man who plagiarized, that we all know, is the president of the United States.
By the
Because
way,
ain't nobody plagiarized like Joe.
I didn't even mention this, and apparently this is something that's a story that's brewing now. So Bill Ackman, who is the billionaire hedge funder Zionist who made sure that Claudine Gay was taken out as president for plagiarism, it appears that Mr. Ackman's wife is guilty of plagiarism herself.
Oh my goodness.
You can't make this up, guys.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.